ask your students about awarenesses. What are they aware of when they're playing tennis? And to break it into 7 categories: self-awareness. Are they tight? Are they nervous? Are they threatened? Are they challenged? Are they, over intensified? Are they too relaxed? But self-awareness. Are they breathing? Are they not breathing? And then it's very basic. The tennis ball. What type of spin? The physical characteristics of a ball. The speed, spin, trajectory. Be aware of what is happening with a tennis ball. Racket awareness. Your racket, your opponent's racket. Basically, you formulate a game plan on what your opponent's doing with the racket. So you better be able to read the racket head. A great phrase to have people play better tennis is racket head awareness. Players like Ivan Goolagong years ago or John McEnroe, just amazing how much racket head awareness they had. I'm dating myself by mentioning players that are my age, but great players today. The better the player, the more aware of what they're doing with the racket head. Then you have court awareness. Court awareness. The position, your opponent's position. Singles and doubles. And just think about what takes place in other sports. I often find that many kids will play high-level college tennis, and you ask them, they could be their junior in college, and you ask them about how much video work do they do, and not too much. Then I will think about basketball. A kid really doesn't play 1 minute of college basketball where they're not later critiqued on film. And not to get off on a tangent, but one thing with a tennis coach, it's very difficult for a tennis coach. They have a smaller budget, they have less coaches. Their kids are spread out on 6 courts, where basketball is just played on 1 court. But court awareness. The next is the score. Now, most people are too aware. They're too score conscious. But you have to know what's going on with the score. What I mentioned earlier, it's a green light point. It's a green light game. You're up a set, you're up a break. It's time for you to put the foot to the pedal and be more aggressive. The elements, the wind, the sun. Just about all junior tennis programs have a system where you play points, you move up and you move down. And when juniors move up or move down, you think, especially if they're outside, they're going to think, okay, I'm going to take this side because it's to my advantage. But many times juniors are not taking the role of evaluating the wind. They're not being a problem solver when it comes to the elements. They're not just throwing that ball up high and letting the person look into the sun. Now, we started with self. The last one is opponent awareness. All right? Most people have too high an opinion of what their opponent can do. You have to go so far up the ladder before you actually lose to an opponent. Tennis players, we all know that, they lose to themselves. But awarenesses for better play: self-awareness, ball awareness, racket awareness, court awareness, we call that position awareness, elements, and opponent.